Candles of Beirut. Chapter 1, The Art of Necessary Light, 1960. The year was 1960, and Beirut, the Paris of the Middle East, was a city of glittering ambition and unpredictable darkness. Just as often as the golden sunshine struck the balconies overlooking the Corniche, the city's aging electrical grid would surrender with a collective, weary sigh. It was during one of these sudden, stifling blackouts that Miriam, a young woman with a steady hand and a soul full of quiet resolve, began shaping candles in the form of hearts. She had inherited her grandmother's tiny, cluttered workshop in the old Gemaise quarter. While others scrambled for harsh kerosene lamps, Miriam saw the outages as her unique opportunity. The heart shape, initially chosen because the mold was small and quick to pour before the wax solidified, soon became her signature. She called them Qalb al-Noor, Heart of Light. Her most loyal customer was Youssef, the owner of the small, fragrant bookstore just 2 streets over. Youssef was a poet who rarely wrote, preferring to dwell among the works of others. He was lean, perpetually dressed in a slightly rumpled suit, and possessed a voice that sounded like smooth river stone. Youssef didn't just buy the heart candles, he bought all of them, every single batch. "Youssef, my store is tiny, but your bookstore is not the size of a palace." Miriam teased him one dim morning, counting out the heart shapes wrapped in tissue paper. "Do you have secret clients who read in 1,000 separate rooms?" He would place the payment, always exact, always generous, on her counter, his eyes dark with unexpressed thoughts. "My dear Miriam, I read by love's light, and love is a flickering, unpredictable thing. It requires abundant backup." He never took his eyes off her as he spoke, and the intense sincerity in his gaze made the simple transaction feel like a high-stakes confession. Chapter 2, The Hidden Verses. Their relationship settled into a comfortable ritual dictated by the city's power failures. When the lights went out, Youssef appeared. He would stand at her counter, discussing the perfect scent, a faint trace of cinnamon for courage, or orange peel for joy, and would leave with every heart candle she had poured that day. Miriam knew he wasn't simply storing them. She saw the occasional flicker of her hearts in the windows of his friends, the coffee house owners, and the struggling artists who frequented his shop. He was distributing her hope cloaked in wax. One evening, 3 years into their unspoken courtship, Miriam was preparing for a festival. She had exhausted her stock of beeswax and was scraping the remnants from the bottom of her vats. She picked up a collection of discarded candle bottoms and hardened drippings, intending to melt them down for reuse. A fragment of a spent heart candle, one of the first she had ever sold to Youssef, was among the scraps. She tossed it into the heating cauldron. The wax turned liquid, releasing a soft puff of rose-scented steam. Then something small and white failed to dissolve. It was a tightly rolled scroll of thin parchment, tied with a single strand of crimson thread. Miriam lifted it out with the tip of her knife. Her fingers, accustomed to handling heat, trembled as she unrolled the tiny scroll. It was not a receipt or a shopping list. It was a poem, written in Youssef's unmistakable sloping hand. It was not a sonnet about the sea or a lament about the darkness. It was a declaration,